Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to 10 Minutes Daily Cafe Chat. I'm Emily.
And I'm Lisa. It is Friday, April 17th, 2026.
Friday, finally.
Right? I feel like this week was so long. I literally did a little jump when I woke up this morning.
That is so you. I just smiled at my coffee, my version of celebrating.
That is very Emily. Do you have anything fun planned for the weekend?
Nothing big, maybe a walk somewhere, a good book. Honestly, that sounds perfect to me.
I love that. Low-key is underrated. I might try that new cafe that just opened near the station.
Oh, which one? Is it good?
I have no idea. That is the plan. Go find out. Very exciting.
Okay, before we spiral into full weekend mode, we should talk about today's news. We have a great lineup.
Right. What are we covering today?
First, some big climate news from the US. Then an Amazon story that is, honestly, kind of mind-blowing. And finally, the Pope is on a historic trip across Africa right now.
Ooh, that last one sounds really interesting.
All three stories. But first, if you're new here, welcome. We chat about real news in natural, everyday English every morning, just 10 minutes.
Great for your commute or coffee break. Hit subscribe and join us every day. And if you've been here a while, thank you for listening and shadowing with us. It really means a lot.
Okay, and we have a key word connecting all three stories today. Ready?
Hit me.
Today's keyword is record.
Record. Like the kind you spin on a turntable? Because that would make this a very different kind of news show.
I love that image. No, more like breaking a record, setting a new high or a historic first.
Got it. So, as in, technically, I just set a record for most coffees consumed before 9 a.m.?
That is honestly very plausible. Each story today is about something hitting a level that has never been seen before, and they're all very different kinds of records.
I'm curious now. Let's get into it.
All right, so NOAA just released their March 2026 climate data, and honestly, the numbers are kind of scary. How bad are we talking? The continental U.S. was about 9 degrees above the 20th century average for a whole month. That is wild for a whole month. Right? And here's the part that really got me. The daily highs in March were basically what you would expect in April. Wait, seriously? Now I get why I was sweating on my walk yesterday. Same. It did not feel like spring at all, and records were falling all over the country. So basically, spring just skipped this year. Pretty much. And this is not a one-off either. The heat and the dryness have been stacking up for months now.
So it's not a single weird month, it's a pattern.
Exactly. And looking ahead, scientists are watching a super El Niño that could form in the next few months. Honestly, that's the scary part. Yeah, if it lines up, the heat we're feeling now might just be the warm-up. I can't even picture what summer's gonna feel like. And that's the thing about the word record. We keep breaking them, but each one just sets up the next.
Not a finish line, a warning sign.
Okay, shifting from climate records to business records. Amazon just announced that their AI revenue has hit a $15 billion annual run rate.
15 billion? Just from AI?
Just from AI, through AWS, their cloud computing division. And that number is from the first quarter of 2026.
That is not a side project anymore. That is a real business.
Exactly. And there is another number that is even bigger. Amazon's custom chip business, Graviton and Trainium, is now at a $20 billion annual run rate.
20 billion for chips? I did not even know Amazon made their own chips.
A lot of people don't, but that chip business has basically doubled since the beginning of 2026.
doubled in a few months? That's insane growth.
Amazon CEO called it one of the clearest signals yet that AI spending is actually turning into real revenue.
So the money is finally coming back. It's not just burning cash anymore.
Exactly. For a long time, AI was what they call a cost center. Companies were pouring money in without seeing returns.
And now it's flipping into a revenue source. That's a big deal.
Right. And the CEO also said their massive 2026 spending plan is tied directly to AI infrastructure and commitments from existing customers.
Wait, so the demand is already locked in? They're not just hoping people will buy.
The money is already committed. That's what makes this different.
But here's my question. If Amazon is spending this much, what happens to the smaller companies trying to compete?
That's the concern. When a giant like Amazon is investing billions, it creates enormous pressure on smaller infrastructure providers.
It's like opening a huge supermarket next to a small shop. The small shop just can't match those prices.
Good analogy. And this is happening across the industry. The big players are pulling further ahead.
So the record here isn't just about revenue, it's about how much the gap is widening.
Right. The AI race is becoming a game that only the biggest companies can afford to play.
Which makes you wonder how long that's sustainable, even for the giants.
All right, our last story is a big one. Pope Leo XIV is currently on an 11-day trip across Africa, visiting 4 different countries.
4 countries in 11 days? That is a packed schedule.
Algeria, Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. Around 18,000 kilometers total. 18 flights.
18 flights! I feel tired just hearing that.
And he is giving 25 speeches along the way in 5 different languages.
5 languages? Okay, that is impressive on its own.
The first stop, Algeria, is making history all by itself. No pope has ever visited Algeria before.
Wow! Even in all of Catholic history? Honestly, you would think with all the travel popes have done, every country would have had a visit by now, right?
Algeria is a predominantly Muslim country, fewer than 10,000 Catholics out of 48 million people.
That actually makes the visit feel more significant to me, not less. Going somewhere where almost no one shares your faith takes a different kind of courage.
It's about interfaith dialogue. He's visiting both a grand mosque and a cathedral called Our Lady of Africa.
Oh, so he's meeting both communities? That's a strong gesture. It reminds me of how the best community events back home always make sure nobody's left out.
He's also honoring victims of Algeria's civil conflict from the 1990s, 19 clergy members who were killed.
That adds so much weight to the trip. It's not just a visit, it's also a moment of reckoning. What about the other countries?
In Cameroon, there's a massive outdoor mass, around 600,000 people expected.
600,000? That's like a whole city showing up.
And his message there is partly about reconciliation between the English-speaking minority and the French-speaking government.
I had no idea Cameroon had that kind of divide.
Then Angola and Equatorial Guinea each have their own story. Equatorial Guinea is celebrating 170 years since Christianity first arrived there. So every stop means something different. It's not just a tour. And here's the bigger picture. Africa produced over half of the world's new baptisms in 2023.
Over half? I wouldn't have guessed that at all. I think a lot of people still picture the church as mostly a European institution, but clearly that picture is out of date.
About 8.3 million out of 15.8 million worldwide. Africa is really the center of growth for the Catholic Church right now.
So this trip is also a statement about where the church is headed.
Exactly. The main themes are interfaith dialogue, political reconciliation, and resource exploitation. issues that go way beyond Africa.
So this is not just a religious trip, it's a political statement and a record-breaking journey all at once.
I have to be honest, the climate numbers really stuck with me today. Record-shattering heat across America, Amazon turning AI into a money machine, and a historic papal journey through Africa. Honestly, the climate numbers hit me the hardest. When you hear that March was hotter than April normally is, that just breaks your brain a little. For me, the Amazon story was eye-opening. $15 billion in AI revenue means this technology is not going away. It's becoming part of the foundation. And the Pope's trip is just fascinating. Visiting a Muslim-majority country for the first time ever, speaking 5 languages, that is a very different kind of record. Which ties everything together with our keyword. Record showed up in every story today, but in completely different ways. Record heat we do not want, record revenue that changes an industry, and a record-making journey that could change relationships between communities. Records can be a warning, a milestone, or a first step. It all depends on what you do with them. That's a good point. A record by itself is just a number. The meaning comes from what happens next. So true. And we have a small request. To help us keep bringing you stories worth talking about, we would love to know which topic grabbed you most today. Was it A, the record-breaking heat across the US? B, Amazon's $15 billion AI milestone? Or C, Pope Leo's historic trip through Africa? For me, it's B. The Amazon numbers show that AI is no longer experimental, it's infrastructure now, and that changes everything. I'm going with C. A pope visiting a Muslim-majority country for the first time ever, speaking 5 languages, with 600,000 people at one event? That's genuinely moving.
Let us know your pick in the comments.
A, B, or C. Any language is totally fine, even just an emoji works. We read every single one. If you enjoyed today's chat, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. We're here every single day. See you tomorrow, everyone, and stay cool out there.